Hello, this is going to be lesson 6. It's going to be found on page number 4 of your notes. So lesson 6 is going to be about factoring. Okay, up to now we've been factoring trinomials that had a number in front of the x squared. This time we're going to show the special case that whenever there is a 1 in front of the x squared, how it's going to be a little bit simpler to solve your problems. Okay, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to do similar to the previous lesson. You're going to take the first number, which is the invisible 1 times 20. You go here on the side and you do 1 times 20, so it's 20, and you make a list of numbers that give you 20. So it'd be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3 does not go into 20, 4 does, so 4 and 5. Okay, and then after that comes 5, so we're done with our list. We should pay attention to our middle term, and the middle term is 9, so our biggest digits here is going to be 9, positive. So positive 5, and I want positive 9, so that means the 4 has to be positive. And final check, a positive times a positive equals a positive, so that means this will work. Also, I forgot to mention that there's nothing else here that would give you a 9, so the only option was 4 and 5. And also we check positive and positive gives you a positive, so we're good. Now here where the difference comes from the previous problems, because I have a 1 here, I can skip some steps and just put 2 parentheses. And this is x squared, so the square root of x squared is x. And basically, I just put these two numbers, positive 4, positive 5. Okay. Let me just show you here on the sign. Okay. So basically, before, let me write it over here. We had x squared plus 9x plus 20. And when we found the 4 and 5, we would break down the 9 as x squared plus 4x plus 5x plus 20. That's what we used to do before. Okay, now what can I factor from the first two numbers? The answer would be an x. So this would be x squared divided by x is x. 4x divided by x is 4. What can I factor from 5x and 20? The answer is 5. So this would be x plus 4. And what do they have in common? They have in common x plus 4. And what do I factor? X plus 5. Alright, let me zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so you can take a look of the two different ways. Okay, so basically what happened is, here we have the starting problem. Now we came out with 4 and 5. Before we used to split them into 2 and then group them, and then after we group them we see what repeats and what is left out. So basically the new method, and it only works if there is a 1 right here, is instead of having to do these steps, you can go ahead and skip it. Just open 2 parentheses, put an x here, an x there, and copy these numbers. Okay, so know that this is what's happening, and we're skipping these 2 steps, and we can only skip that if this is a 1. If it's not a 1, then we have to go through these steps. Okay, so let me zoom back in to kind of show you. Sorry, I kind of like took this side step here because I wanted to make sure you understood that this method is cool because it's shorter. Okay, but it only works if there's a 1 there. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next problem, letter B, and let's see how that works. Okay, I take 1 times 22. 1 times 22 is 22, and break it down to 2 numbers, 1 and 22, 2 and 11. Out of these 2 pairs, which one gives me a 13? 11 and 2 gives me 13. 13 is negative, so that means 11 will be negative, and so will the 2. Negative 11, negative 2 gives me negative 13. So open two sets of parentheses. And I put negative 2, negative 11. And that's it. Okay? And it only works because there's a 1 there. Okay? Alright, let's try the next one. 1 times 36 is 36. The numbers give me 36 is 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 5 does not go into 36, 6 and 6, and that's it. Now we're looking for a pair of numbers that gives me 11, and looking at this list, nothing gives me 11, so that means this will be prime. Okay, let's go on to the next one. We're going to do 1 times 40. So 1 times 40 is 40. What two numbers give me 40? Be 1 and 40, 2 and 20. 3 does not go into 40. How about 4 and 40? 4 and 10. 5 and 8. And then 6 doesn't go in, 7 doesn't go, and then 8's already on the list. I'm looking for something that gives us 18, and the number that gives us 18 is 2 and 20. Because 18 is negative here, the biggest here will be negative. And to give me a negative 18, this will have to be a positive. Final check. A negative times a positive equals a negative, so that means this will work. This would be Q and Q, and we just copy these numbers right here. So it would be positive 2, negative 20, and that's our answer. Okay, let's continue to the next problems. Next problem is letter E. And basically, I have 1 and 6, so it'll be 1 times 6 is 6. Two numbers give me 6 is 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Because the middle term is negative 5, both of them give me give me 5. So I select both. And the middle term is a negative, so the biggest digit will be negative. And to give me a negative 5 here, I'll need this 2 to be a negative. And to give me a negative 5 here, I would need the 1 to be a positive. Final check. I need to have a negative, so a negative times the negative gives me a positive. That doesn't work. A negative times a positive does give me a negative, like this guy right here. So I know that this is my set of numbers. Open two sets of parentheses. X, X. This would be positive 1, negative 6. And that's our answer. Alright, let's do the next one. The next one, I'm going to do 1 times 15. So 1 times 15 is 15. What two numbers give me 15? It would be 1 and 15, and 3 and 5. Now we're looking for a pair that gives me a 6, and none of them work. So that means this problem is prime. Alright. Okay, let's move on to the next problem. This one, we're going to do 1 times 30. So 1 times 30 equals 30. Two numbers that give me 30 will be 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4 does not go into it, 5 and 6, and that's it. And we're looking for something that gives me 13. So there's two options here, 10 and 3, 15 and 2. Middle number is negative, so that means the biggest digits will be negative. And that means the 3 here to give me negative 13 will have to be negative. And the 2 here to give me negative 13 would have to be positive. Final check is it will be the sign. A negative negative does give me a positive, so that is good. A negative times a positive does not give me a positive, so that means this fails. So my answer is negative 3, 10. So this would be A, negative 3, and A, negative 10. Alright, let's go on to the next problem. Here I have 1 times 42 is 42. Two numbers that give me 42 are 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 4 dozen, 5 dozen, 6 and 7 does give me, 3 does go into 42, 3 and 14, 4 dozen, 5 dozen, 6 does, 6 and 7. Alright, now we're looking for a number that gives 17. So which pair would give me 17? Well, 14 and 3 will give you 17. 17 here is negative, so that means the 14, the biggest digit, will have to be negative. And to give me negative 17, the 3 would also have to be negative, because negative 14, negative 3 gives me negative 17. Final check. A negative times a negative, does it give me this sign over here? No, it doesn't. So I mean that fails. Do I have any other option that will give me 17? The answer is no. So that means my answer is prime. Okay. Let's go on to the next problem, letter I. Letter I, there's something different here. I have an x cubed. But if you notice, everybody here has x. So that means you should always ask, can I factor anything from all three? And the answer is yes, I can factor out an x. X cubed divided by x, it will be x squared. 3x squared divided by x will be 3x. And negative 4x divided by x is negative 4. Now we're just going to copy the x on the outside, but here on this side we're going to do our strategy. We're going to take 1 times 4 equals 4. Two numbers give me 4. 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Out of the two options, which one gives me a 3? The first one. Sign of the biggest would have to be positive. And to give me a 3, the one has to be a negative. A positive times a negative, it does give me the negative here. So that means that will work. So we open two sets of parentheses. We put x and x. Then we put negative 1, positive 4. So this is our factorization here. Alright, last problem, letter J. What numbers goes into 5, 25, and 30? The answer would be a 5. Can I factor out an x? Yes, I can. How many x's can I factor? The smallest exponent is 3, so I can factor out 3. Now with that decided, let's divide. 5 divided by 5 is a 1. X to the 5th divided by x to the 3rd is x squared. Negative 25 divided by 5 is negative 5. X to the 4th divided by x third is x. Negative 30 divided by 5 is negative 6. And x cubed divided by x cubed, the x cubed cancel. So we have this on the outside. I'm going to keep it on the outside. But now I'm going to look for the factors for these guys. So it'd be 1 times 6 is 6. What numbers give me 6? It would be 1 and 6, 2 and 3, and that's it. Alright, sign of the biggest would have to be the same sign as the 5, so it would be a negative. And to give me a negative 5 here, I'll need this to be a negative. And to give me a negative 5, I'll need this to be a positive. Now, final check. A negative times a negative does not give me a negative, so this fails. And a positive times a negative does give me a negative, so this is the one I want. So this would be x plus 1, x minus 6. And that will be our answer. Okay. This concludes the lesson number 6. So go ahead and stop the video and proceed to do your assignments. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day. Bye.